Okay, so first of all, we've been able to meet ahead of time, and I'd like to be able to share the privilege of you meeting these folks. So I'd like each of you guys to introduce yourself and your organization, your company, and also your AR connection. In other words, why are you here? Ken, get us started.
I'm Ken Fast. I work at Electric Boat. We design and build nuclear submarines for the U.S. Navy. What do I do? So I've been involved with virtual reality for a long time. We design our submarines with a large-scale VR setting as an electronic mock-up. So we've been doing that since the early 90s. And with AR, we've been working in AR for, 5 years or so now. We're looking at manufacturing applications for our own manufacturing. So we actually build the submarine. And we have some use cases on the shop floor where we're using overlay of parts to eliminate looking at drawings.
Very cool. Okay, Beth?
Hi.
Let me guess, you make submarines too.
They do.
Yes, and aircraft carriers. So Ken and I have that in common. But I'm a manager at Newport Shipbuilding, and I lead a great team of designers, engineers, and developers who create augmented reality applications to help us build and those submarines and aircraft carriers. So.
All right.
My name is Ben Holfeld. I work at Accenture Labs. That's the research arm of Accenture, which is a consulting company. We have a labs here in Silicon Valley, which used to be in San Jose, but we just moved out actually because we're moving into the Salesforce Tower in a new office. And so currently I don't have an office, just a virtual or augmented reality office. And my background is I studied physics and then got into business. I'm actually from Germany originally, so I love all the automotive AR use cases out there. And now at Labs, I used to work on lots of client projects, also augmented reality client projects, so I'll talk a little bit about that. But now at Labs, I've started going more and more to conferences, giving demos. So this year is paradise for me, seeing all these demos and devices out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
Zach, how about you?
Great. My name is Zach Woods. I work for Evonik Industries, which is a very large, as they were, German chemical company. Sadly, we haven't come up with a better marketing slogan in the chemical industry since BASF said 30 years ago, we don't make your products, we just make your products better. So the polyurethane inside of the seats that you're in right now are more comfortable because of the defoamers that we sell. Refrigerators work better because of the defoamers that we sell. Paints last longer, medications more effective. We also, to connect to the AR and VR topic, as we are a manufacturing organization, we have a lot of products that need to be repaired on the manufacturing side, and then in the end, a lot of products that could really use a facelift on the communication, sales, and marketing front. So my job from the Evonik Digital Enterprise, which is charged principally with bringing digital technologies into the company, it doesn't just touch on AR, VR, but across the enterprise from the manufacturing of the goods to the sales and marketing of the goods. What technologies can we use to make our products better, more efficient, more effective? And we find that AR and VR have applications not all across that value chain, but certainly at the beginning and certainly at the end.
Yeah, incredible. And I'm Scott McCormick. My company is called Emergent Enterprise, which is two things. It's a website that I know you'll like because you're here at this conference, and it covers these very same topics. Emergent Enterprise has a dash in there, but it's at emergententerprise.com. I'd love for you to visit. And then I do some consulting as well and help companies with these emerging technologies, especially in the user experience aspect of launching or implementing them. Well, guys, each one of you is in AR. You've gotten your hands dirty doing this kind of stuff, but you must remember either a recent deliverable that you worked on or an effort. There must have been some kind of trigger, either a pain point or, hey, here's an opportunity. Or I loved how one speaker yesterday said that internally they did a hackathon and an actual end user came up with the idea that was worked on. Why don't you share some of your triggers of what launched an AR effort within your company? That's open to any one of you.
I'll start.
Very good.
In our business, we're definitely looking at pain points. So I would say several years ago, so a little bit more about my background, I've been on the team for about 4 years. And as a whole, we've been looking at and using augmented reality for almost about 7 years. In the early days, it was a lot of the team members were trying to sell augmented reality to our workforce, trying to convince them it was going to work. But now the tide has definitely changed, where a lot of the end users are now coming to our team with their pain points and saying, I have this problem, I really want to improve my process. So that's really where our focus is today, is really on the pain points.
So you have no trouble with buy-in when they're coming with the ideas, right?
I wish I had her problem. Wow. Yeah, I would say to pick up on the pain points topic, yeah, we're looking to drive efficiencies, right? So if we can put together a pump more quickly by using work assist, if we can do our rounds more effectively or more efficiently, so by OSHA mandate or by FDA mandate, we have certain rounds that need to be checked every 8 hours, every 24 hours, every 36 hours, right? Just to give a little context. When we can give operative checklists that are digitized, right? That have overlays of, did you see this? Did you record this? Were you actually physically there when you said you were? Pen and pencil is really great per the Pixar conversation, but pen and pencil can't prove, and timestamp and video and confirm that you
record
actually
and analytic,
so,
right?
So for us, it's really driving home a number of those things that I may have captured just now, but pain points, right? So finding ways that we can bring production back on stream faster is probably the number one reason.
Yeah, good.
Well,
Ben, I see something percolating in your head.
yeah. I'm thinking. So at our labs, we're looking at what's coming in the future, and Accenture, we put the accent on the future. It's in the name already. So, and our last Tech Vision report actually included extended reality, because we see that as an inevitable step in computing technology, because our brains are structured in a way that we live in a 3D world. It's kind of sad that nowadays everyone is on their tiny little screen. We need to get people back into the real world and into thinking in the environment and not getting lost on their mobile devices or other devices. So we were actually really excited with the Google Glass, thought that might be a breakthrough technology, but obviously didn't work out in the consumer world, but in the enterprise world, actually, Google for Enterprise, we're having a lot of projects. So
heard a lot of good stories in the last day and a half. Ken, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting. When we first started, somebody came to us with they had seen things in the technical press and popular press of, AR. You just walk around with your smartphone and you see pipes under the street and you see wires above your head and everything.
Because it's already there, already ready to be read, right?
Well, it was
Done.
at the time it was Hollywood, not reality. So it was a different kind of augmented reality.
Spoiler alert for some of the folks out there.
But in real life, there are lots of the job that we do on the construction side is complicated, and there's a lot of manual measurement that goes on, and it's all based on drawings, and it's a complicated process of having to go back to a drawing to find a dimension and then make a physical measurement in space in something that's round and crowded, and it's all very hard to do. And if you could do that easier, then everyone's for that. So there's millions. It takes millions of man hours to build a submarine, and it takes tens of millions of man hours to build aircraft carriers. So there's a huge opportunity to save money
and time.
And, yep.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible. With each one of the steps in the process, if you can make those narrow or make step number 17. Go from 10 minutes to 4 minutes, there's already a big win, especially if you're doing that process hundreds and hundreds of times, right? So you had the pain point, you had the trigger, you were looking to the future with a new idea, all those kind of things had the triggers. Tell us some good stories. Tell us give us sort of a short case study of something that's happening at your company that said, we were doing it like this, and we used AR that's really showed some improvements, and now we're using AR like this. What's a good story?
Yeah, I can tell you a good proof of concept, right? So this is not in
Okay.
production if you're looking at it. Maybe in a year you'll be able to learn about the world
We'll
of
have
Evonik.
everybody sign an NDA before they...
Yeah, well, it's totally fine. If we're the first people to think about it, then I'm on the wrong stage. So one of my pet peeves, and this dates back 6 years from when I first started working at Evonik, I came into the company, and the way that we produce content, communication content, was very much so in a 2D, super rudimentary world. We actually had people from the newspaper coming in and writing periodicals, and then we would stamp those and write the addresses and mail them to 10,000 customers or 15 or 20,000 customers. In 6 years, the technology for augmented reality and virtual reality has advanced so much that a company like Evonik, when I tell you your seats are softer because of our defoamer, you can actually use this image, as boring as it might sound, to look at this particular chair when you're at a Lazy Boy store, or you're looking at a mattress, which is a far less negligible purchase, and you're interested in what's inside of that mattress that makes it worth $3,000 or more comfortable for you as a user. You can actually use augmented reality to unpack the story or the narrative of this foam, right? As boring as that may sound, I think that if you add in the digital marketing analytics and capabilities that are inside of that, it's a particular angle I'm very excited about. I think the story is much more powerful to you as a consumer, and ultimately to our customers, which are the Sealeys of the world and the Caspers of the world in this case for the mattress. But that's one really interesting one.
Yeah,
I'm
that is
excited
cool
about.
to be able to sort of look inside the mattress or the chair or whatever.
I have a great story too.
All right, Ben.
So I used to build apps for clients, mobile phone apps, and also like instructions, work instructions, but then on the phone it's so tiny, and I noticed how often they still use paper, because paper never runs out of battery, and other good reasons. But at one point I got into an AR project. It was actually at a mining client. So
okay.
that's what I love about consulting. You get into all these interesting industries. Then there were all these trucks, the size of this room.
Agreed.
We were on the field, and really they wanted to introduce augmented reality technology, just because they always get new employees who need to repair things instead of breaking things. So we started with one project, which was the repair was all paper-based, and we transformed it into a smart glass instructions. And then we tested it, and we got a guy who never did the repair before. Like they usually need a lot of training, but now with the smart glass technology, he was able to go step by step through the instructions and complete the entire repair.
Wow.
So that's amazing. Like, and the business love that. They don't have to so much training requirements, and the people, the employees love it too, because they don't mess up their repair, or they didn't know exactly what to do.
There's got to be a reduction in errors because of that, because everybody's getting a very consistent step
definitely.
by step.
And also machines are getting more and more complex and bigger, and our human brain is the same like thousands of years ago. So we need this AR technology to enable people to fix those complex machines.
So any one of us can go to work for that mining company?
Yeah, you can. You wanna? I can connect.
They're accepting applications.
I live in central Illinois, so I have a feeling I know what company you're talking about. Okay, Beth, how about a story from you?
Yeah, so for us, I think one of the biggest wins that we're experiencing right now is our surrounding room visualization or compartment visualization. We call them compartments on ships. But allowing the different trades, we have electricians, we have welders, we have ship fitters who are either installing equipment or routing cables, painters, allowing them to see what's going to be installed before, during the construction process without having to look at their drawings, without having to measure where a piece of equipment's going to be located. So really allowing us to change some of the process flows. So as an example, the painters, they would previously get an order requesting that they go paint behind a piece of equipment that was is going to be installed on a wall or bulkhead. So then they would have to call the ship fitters who would come and measure where this piece of equipment was going to be located. And then the painters would then come to paint behind this one piece of equipment. Well,
Just the explanation takes the 40 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
That's incredible. I mean,
So-
that's so many people involved.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So now you can give this information directly to the painters, so they don't have to rely on the ship fitters to come. You're giving them the power of the information right there in their hands. So they can see where it's going to be installed, they can measure it themselves, or they don't even have to measure, they just mark it off based on the visualization.
Right.
And then they can just go ahead and paint right then and there. So that's actually changing the work process flow.
Yeah, yeah. And Ken's nodding a lot on this, so he must
Yes,
be seeing
I'm
the
sure.
same thing. So is it a similar experience for you then, I can imagine?
Yeah. I don't know do you have slides? Do you have 2 slides for me?
No,
No?
unless you gave it to him.
I sent something in. I don't know if there's.
Oh. Well, you could
No?
still
Okay, so,
share.
we have an application that we're using now in production, some limited production, where we're installing electrical hangers. So if you think of a space like this, not as big as this, early in the construction process, they'll weld threaded studs, so it's like a bolt. They'll weld a bolt into the structure, but then they send the structure, when it's done, to get painted. It comes back from being painted, and there's all these bolts that are already attached to the structure, and things bolt onto them, but there's no reference as to what they are anymore because everything's been painted over.
Right.
So you have to go back to the drawing again. You're looking through the drawing, and you have to measure. So you're given a piece of equipment, and it fits. It's got a mounting plate with holes that go on a set of bolts. But to find those bolts, you have to go look through the drawing and then make measurements to know where things go. And now we have an application. We're using the Tango tablet. So you can walk around and just look, and it shows an overlay of the CAD model of the part, and the mounting plate shows up right on top of the bolts where the bolts are.
Okay.
So you know that that's the one, and it's got a part number on it. So you go grab that part number, and you look up, and it shows you exactly where it goes. So it's a huge time saver. Whereas in the past, for each part, you'd have to go back and forth to the drawing, and the ceiling's not as high, but it's a step ladder operation. So every time you go up, you're up on a step ladder, and then you got to come back down, look at the drawing again, up on the step ladder, try and make your tape measure measurement, which is hard to do, and then back down and back up, back down. Now they walk around with a Sharpie, and they just hold the tablet, and they're marking numbers with a Sharpie, and they come back and they bolt the things on, and it's a huge time saver. So.
Yeah, there's a video out of I forget the company that's doing it, but it's Google Glass for Enterprise, and it's a side-by-side video of somebody using Google Glass, a person doing a task using Google Glass and then not using it, and they're building something, and they have to go up and down a little stairway to go and check their manual for each step, and it's in fast motion, so you see this person going up and down the stair or just standing there and getting it done, and the savings are incredible. And that's what I want to talk about is metrics. Is all of you have mentioned savings in some way. It might be money, it might be in time, or gains in productivity. I can't imagine how many person hours it takes to build an aircraft carrier, but my guess is you have an approximate number of what that is, right? Or a submarine.
We know exactly. We know exactly how many hours it takes.
Which is incredible.
That's how we bill our customer.
Just in case any of you are in the market for a submarine.
Special deal, you know, it's
Yeah, 2 for 1 going on right now. Buy one, get one free? Are you doing that? No.
No,
Okay.
no.
So have you seen this type of technology show some actual, I guess we're talking ROI here, which doesn't always need to be money. Have you seen some real numbers that you've been able to go, yes, this is what we've saved?
We're beginning to collect some numbers. It is a little tricky. So there's for certain operations, they have depending on the granularity, they actually have historical numbers, so they know this operation on this submarine took this many hours, and on this submarine took this many hours, and so we can collect that from boat to boat and compare. But it's we're working on a new design. We're starting to build a new design, and so for that we don't have any historical information, so it's harder to compare. But we have some process. We have a group called process engineering. So we have the black belts and green belts or whatever they are that do Lean Six Sigma. So they're helping out trying to figure out exact numbers and what you can measure.
Good.
But it's not entirely straightforward to just say, oh, we saved
Zachary,
this many hours.
are you seeing like some real side-by-side numbers?
Yeah, I think kind of in the boat with Ken. Some of the stuff is a little too early, right?
Yeah.
So we're past POC. We're
Okay.
to the point where we're now scaling the technology and really deploying it. But I mean, another use case for us that for sure we will see savings is in the pre-engineering phase of a chemical plant build, right? So greenfield chemical plant's going to be built. It's a $200 million project. It's happening in Blair, Nebraska. We have engineers in Singapore, we have 4 engineers in Germany, and 3 engineers in the United States that will work on it. And then they'll sell that project to our internal customer, which is the business line that's manufacturing that good. We will save money and potentially, between 5 and 10% of rework charges that are normally done because something, guess what? A 2D rendering of a 3D thing isn't as easy to discern as a 3D rendering or a collaborative environment of a 3D thing. So we can't put hard numbers on it right now, but we definitely will save money in that and other things. But
Okay. Ben or Beth, did you want to add any?
We have some numbers, but they're on a very small scale, so they're not widely applicable to a number of different use cases.
Sure.
So we've definitely seen some large savings, but you can't apply it to every use case.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so implementation of a new technology like this within an organization isn't all like running through a field of daisies holding hands.
unless you're Beth.
Sometimes there's pushback, sometimes things don't go as planned. So share a little bit of those stories. I mean, what are some lessons learned, or what are something that haven't, wow, we didn't see that coming kind of experiences?
We'd created a quick proof of concept a number of months ago. A sponsor had said, I really think there's an opportunity here. I think there's an opportunity to save some money in using this AR application. The end user wasn't necessarily on board, and they weren't embracive of it. So when we created the application, we were trying to involve them in the development process, even though it was a quick turnaround type thing, quick proof of concept. But at the end of the day, they would rather use their paper because that's what they know, that's what they trusted. They just weren't they weren't sure of something new. So in those situations, your end users, something has to click, something has to make them want to use it.
Yeah, that's the world that I walk in the user experience world. How do you make it useful? They're asking what's in it for me. And so if you're not providing value, you're going to get resistance. It's guaranteed. Same question to the rest of you.
Yeah, I actually observed the same in some areas that the end users prefer to use something that they are familiar with, which is like, and paper is pretty easy to use.
Right.
Yeah. And like a lot of smart glass technologies that we brought to the end user, there's usually challenges with how do you navigate, how do you get from one step to the next, how do you, like if it's a touch screen, we even, like in industrial, they had gloves, so we get special gloves that you can use touchscreen, or then voice control. There used to be, I mean, industrial environments pretty
Very noisy. Yeah.
And so they also felt kind of weird having to talk to their glasses.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
there's a lot of end user challenges. I mean, the young kids, they loved it. They thought it was really exciting. But I think that technology still really needs to improve. It's not just the end user, also the IT department had tons of challenges, like just the device management, security, privacy, all those. There's a lot of questions. But nevertheless, all those clients we're working with, they are coming. They want to do proof of concepts and pilots. They're pretty excited and explore all that. But it's the hype is a little higher than what can actually be implemented.
Than the delivery. Yeah, I preach what I call the ACT connection, and that's understanding your audience, understanding the context, things like noise, light, that sort of, and then understanding the technology completely, even before you send out that first iteration of whatever it might be. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we've had issues with the IT side of things, with security, device security. The Tango platform runs on Android, so and we typically like to use Windows. That's what the IT people are comfortable with. So there's issues, and then all the visual-based tracking. There's a camera, and historically we weren't.
I think Tango has more than one camera.
There's
right?
multiple
It's
cameras,
just,
and so we're not allowed to have cameras. We weren't even allowed to have smartphones up until in the plant inside the gate until just recently, the last couple of years. So anything with a camera needs a special permit. You have to go apply for this permit and special training, and it's complicated. So it's not easy, and we haven't been successful enough to get to the device management stage of, we don't have hundreds or thousands of devices out there, but when we do, that'll be a whole other problem of how do you keep track of all that and manage that and provision it.
Can I add something to that?
Of course.
Coming from Germany, privacy is a pretty hot topic there. And when I actually used to go to clients, at some clients, automotive, they requested us to destroy the camera on our smartphones, or we had to take special old phones. So, and then the clients we worked with, just having a smart glass in the work environment that might even record what they are saying and then people might keep wearing their devices in the locker room or even the restroom. So that's what the end users are also pretty concerned. Are they going to be watched any second, any minute what they are saying? So privacy is a pretty important topic too.
Right. So it takes some education ahead of time for your end users to understand what they need to do, what's right, what needs to go on. Zach, were you about to say something? Seemed like you're going to jump in. Okay. All right. Well, you brought up security, and certainly that's, I work with, it's funny, you can work with different industries because I enjoy the same kind of variety of clients that you do, and you can work with healthcare, and you can work with insurance, and it seems like each one of them will say, listen, we have the most regulated industry there is on planet Earth, and so security is of paramount importance, and Beth, you brought it up earlier. It's important to every organization, and this type of technology, especially when you start moving into IoT, for instance, and you have all this edge computing going on and things like that, you're creating all these little doorways for somebody to come into your system. So how have you dealt with security? How have you been able to work with IT, been able to build those bridges, or maybe it's those blockades to make that the whole effort go forward.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, and to talk a little bit about our internal processes, and I think it will evolve as time goes on, but you hear the word cloud computing, right? Cloud. I've heard AR cloud mentioned a couple times. So, first and foremost, what I've learned is you have to get IT from Evonik's perspective. I'd be interested to hear you guys maybe have a better suggestion. You have to get IT on board way early, way early, before you even have a POC off the ground. Because if you come to them and you talk about the scale up of a AR solution, their first concern is you already were doing something, right? And they really feel left out. I mean, it's their territory, it's their domain.
Sure.
So, it's not exactly the answer to your question on security, but I do think that involving IT early is super important. And one way we've specifically addressed security is by having cloud brokers, IT security brokers that work internally for the company that evaluate these technologies. They evaluate vendor 1, vendor 2, vendor 3. They look at their entire architecture stack. They look at all the hardware, all the software components. And it can be, I would say, of top 3 game breaker or game changers for us, is that you really can find such slow processes in getting the IT requirements knocked down that you just can't justify the ROI enough, because you can't justify the people hours to go through the IT process, right? And that's a little bit of a vicious cycle.
Okay. So get them at the table as early as you can.
Yeah, so definitely involve IT upfront. Even if you don't figure out all the security hurdles along the way, you can work with them potentially, if they're open to it, to getting some waivers in place to allow you to do a limited proof of concept, making sure, then they can help you make sure that, you have your physical physical security in place, and they understand what the risks are, and, how to mitigate some of those for a limited proof of concept.
Yeah, in our case, a lot of people are talking about cloud. We don't do cloud, right? So we have a closed network, but all of our AR work really is not even networked. So the device, we preload data on the device, and it's not connected to, even with wireless, while it's in use. So because we have limited wireless in our manufacturing environments,
Okay.
and so we don't even need network. And for most applications, you don't, unless you're. And if you're just overlaying data, and you can fit a lot of data on these devices these days. Data's little these days, right? So memory's big, data's little. So you can load it all on the device, and as long as you don't need a real-time network connection, and for most applications you don't, you can store stuff and then upload, download at the end of the day back at your desk or something like that. So that limits your visibility. So the device itself is really a standalone device, not connected to anything. So it's not attackable that way. It's just, you just have to manage physical security of the device at the end of the day.
So not many doors to break into there.
I'm also a really big fan of these offline solutions. Actually, same challenge at this mining client. Most areas there wasn't even good Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to wait for the next image to arrive because of a bad connection, like here, for example. And yeah.
That was Ben Holfeld that said that, bad connection.
H-O-L-E.
Yeah, okay, now I'm noticing our time. I wanted to ask you guys, for me, at these conferences, I want to walk away or leave the conference just with some real substantive nuggets of information that are really valuable to me. So if I could give each of you about a minute, what is like one thing you would want to say to this room full of attendees that you think is that diamond for them to share? Who wants to share their diamond first?
I would say start small. really starting small and focusing on proof of concepts to show the value is key, or has been key for us, because that helps you establish your ROI that's going to help you with your business case to sell it.
Excellent. Guys?
Yeah, I would
Eat
agree with
that.
that. I would agree with that, to start small, to do little things and not come in with this big plan, you're going to take over the world. But there's, I would expect that in all industrial use cases or industrial settings, there are applications where AR is going to be very beneficial, and it's not hard to implement. It's not, these days, it's not really that hard to do. And there's certain things that you do in the way you build your product that will be easier if you had AR, and it's possible to do. It really works.
Good.
I would say, stealing from the start small, think big, scale fast line, I would really add maybe a precondition to all of that and say, start with a why, right? Really start with a why are we doing this? I don't have a diamond, but I have a lightsaber, right? It's called AR, and I'm just swinging it around, right? Here I go. That's not going to win you any fans in the organization. It's not going to win you any fans here amongst your peers.
Right.
I think you really should focus on the why are we looking for AR. Maybe it's just video-to-video communication. We find that that's super helpful for our field technicians, but it's not called AR, so don't call it that. I think that start with why, then think small of where you can start it and get it working. But doing 10 little small things and none of them had any value because you didn't have a why is also not good.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to be the boy or girl that cried wolf, and they're not going to listen. So.
Well, and the problem when you do stub your toe, the next time you want to implement something, then the audience is very skeptical of what you're doing.
For sure.
Ben, you want to sneak in with one?
Yeah, absolutely. My advice would be to keep an open mind, as this is one of the most developing areas right now. Like, there's new devices coming out constantly. So, and you don't always need the latest $10,000 device. You can actually just do augmented reality on your smartphone, and that works pretty well already. Then you already have the models, and eventually now there's even devices where you just slide your smartphone into your hard hat and have a full augmented reality overview. So those cost just a few dollars, and it's amazing what you can already do. And obviously the technology will evolve a lot over the next year. So I wouldn't go ahead and buy 1,000 HoloLenses, because next year there's going to be a much better version out there. But go to events like these, connect with everyone, or come visit us in our new San Francisco Salesforce Tower XR showroom that we're currently building. So just shoot me an email, ben.holfeld@accenture.com. It's very high, best view of the city. We even have augmented reality viewfinders, really cool stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, come visit me in the.
And you buy lunch when we
What?
come? And you buy lunch when we come?
Yeah,
I didn't think you needed a really high tower when you were in XR.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I'll get some
Okay,
AR lab.
I know, we are done. So appreciate very much. We won't do the Slido then? Anything? Anybody?
Any
Slido
questions from the audience?
Oh, we do.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yesterday, Lockheed Martin showed a case with 90 to 95% overhead reduction. What does your case require to achieve results closer to these figures? I guess.
I'll say two things. Your process typically is going to be very reliant on paper, whether it's drawings or tech manuals, and it's also going to have a very high spatial relevance, where orienting yourself, so you have that twofold benefit there.
Yeah, I think that the numbers can be deceiving too. So we have a particular application where we measured time, and we found something like a 90% savings, but it's in one little task, and it's not it's not the whole job, right? So you're not going to save 95% of your day's work. You're going to
Right.
save 95% of a 5-minute job that's part of a bigger job.
So you're not building submarines 90% faster.
Right. You might be
No.
installing the lights 90% faster.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, we lost our questions, so I think that we're done.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
you.
very much, everybody.
Thank you.